What's happening? What's happening? Tone Space up in this thing right here. You see it, everyday struggle. A lot of y'all familiar with it. It was the most poppin' podcast in hip hop present, and it starred Joe Budden and it starred your boy DJ Akademiks, right? It was put out by Complex. Complex is also funded or owned or something like that by Verizon, so they had very big backing. They were rocking for 8 months. It was a nice dynamic between DJ Akademiks and Joe Budden, and they talk about various hip-hop situations, situationships, happenings, beefs, music critiques, and all that other stuff. You know, if you're familiar with Joe Budden, outside of just him spitting his bars, which he's a pretty good lyricist or whatever, but he's a very opinionated motherfucker, and that's what I like about him. And Akademiks, you already know how he do. He's already built his own thing on YouTube on his own. So they were rocking for a good 8 months. Quite honestly, right before them, I'd say the only thing that would have been fucking with them would have been my man Taxstone. But as you know, he's got jammed up. I've discussed the Taxstone situation and how much I did appreciate him as a podcaster. I thought the motherfucker was dope or whatever, right? Long story short, Joe Budden's contract ended and they were renegotiating for a new contract to get him aboard for next year, 2018. And Joe Budden was like, no dice, no bueno, not happening. I'm up out of here, right? Why? Well, from the little internet searchings and listening to other programs and stuff, the way that I gather it was the money that Joe Budden was getting from Jump Street, from Complex, they give you a nice bag or whatever, they give you a little something, but he was anticipating that they'd step it up like the next go round. According to what I gather, he found it was somewhat of a loss, somewhat of taking an L for the time and effort that he was putting in, because as I understand, Joe Budden's built that everyday struggle thing from the ground up anyway. Complex, Verizon, and them just hopped on and, you know, put that energetic corporate energy and funding into the shit or whatever. So he was anticipating it was going to hit him with a bigger and better bag come this 2018. They were like, no bueno. He's like, no bueno. So as far as December 22nd, 2017, he is up out of here. So the question is the show going to keep running with DJ Akademiks? Are they going to find a new host? What are they going to do? Nobody really knows at this time. They're kind of in a state of flux. Akademiks himself isn't filming any new everyday struggle episodes until January 8th, as I understand. Also, Joe Budden has a new child, God bless, and that's a beautiful thing on its own. So everything's in flux now. We don't know what's happening with that, but what we do know is that Joe Budden himself is in negotiation and talks with other people, and as I understand, either yesterday or today, he was in Florida talking to your man P. Diddy, Mr. Take That, and who is down with Revolt, and they're working on getting a podcast. As you understand, Revolt is the people that put out the Drink Champ show with Nori and them. That's a funny ass motherfucking show. But as what I'm hearing, they're trying to say that they don't have a flagship hip hop show, which I tend to disagree with. I think that Drink Champ shit is a flagship hip-hop oriented show. They talk to hip-hop people. It has a hip-hop atmosphere. They promote hip-hop alcohol, and they get drunk and they get bent and they talk that hip-hop shit. What could be more hip-hop or flagship hip-hop than that? You ask me, Drink Champs and Everyday Struggle, I'm kind of leaning into more Drink Champs as far as like what I preferred in my little hour or two of entertainment YouTubing, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, Joe Budden is in talks with Diddy, and hopefully they might be popping something off. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. My personal opinion is the proof is in the pudding. Akademiks, homegrown, built himself a 1 million+ following in a short amount of time, did his own thing. He didn't really need Complex, in my personal opinion. Granted, they hit you with that big bag, they hit you with that good money, something that you've never seen before, something that changes your life. You're going to be like, yeah, let me take that or whatever. But to keep it real, at the rate, you got to look at the rate that people are going. At the rate that Akademiks was going, give him like 2-3 years from now, he'll have his own Complex, and it will be very complex for any other company to try to get him, because he'd be doing his own thing. He can build his own brand, per se. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I think that's what everyone should do now, man. I think that company shit, I think the day of the company is over. It's too much information being thrown back and forth where everyone has the ability to build their own shit. Like, I was able to put my music out, and I need help from nada except a distribution website, and that's it. I could just control everything. I don't got to be under this person, under that person. And it's been like that for a while, but it's just going to keep getting more and more and more and more and more like that. There's going to be more tools that are user-friendly, that are content creator-friendly for you to create your own complex. You know what I'm saying? Your own city, your own state, or your own state of business being. You know what I'm saying? We don't need any big-ass company. So the only companies that I think are really popping right now should be, or are going to be, those companies that help facilitate an individual being able to build their own company. Like YouTube, for example. Perfect example. YouTube is going to keep going on, and other content creator websites and content creator avenues and platforms. Those are good money. Those aren't going to go anywhere. Why? Because they cater to the individual being able to create their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the future. That's actually the present, and that's going to be the future. That's where things are going. So if you ask me, Joe Budden, I say just keep it homegrown, do your own thing. I wouldn't fuck with Revolt. I wouldn't fuck with Complex if they offer you a little more money. I would just do me. You know what I'm saying? How many people are out there doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, getting their numbers up, getting pretty big numbers, having done this a couple months? You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the exponential rate that's going to grow and what it's going to do for you. So that's just my opinion. We'll see where everyday struggle goes. Right now, they're struggling every day to figure out what their future is going to be. Who knows what it's going to be, but hey, motherfuckers like me are going to be rocking and doing my own thing. Akademiks been doing his own thing. He's going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep checking him. I subscribe and everything. And if you haven't, I suggest you check him too. Joe Budden. I haven't even been checking Joe Budden's personal podcast. I checked his podcast today because it had info about his Everyday Struggle podcast, and I wanted to hear about that. But shit, the motherfucker already got his own platform and his own thing popping off. You ask me, keep rolling with that. You're already good. You're comfortable financially. Akademiks, he look comfortable. Maybe he's not quite where Budden is or whatever, but just do you. That's to sum it up or whatever. So we'll see where things go. Like, comment, subscribe, all that old fly shit. And yeah, tell me what you think about this shit. All right. Peace.